a terrible audition, this is just an example, was Lord of the Rings. And I hadn't learned at that stage what preparation looked like. So this was 1998 was when I got that audition. So I didn't understand what was involved in preparation. And so for me, it was picking up the script, and I looked at it a couple of times. I asked my agent, bless her, but she didn't fucking know what she's talking about either. And I said, oh, what's the film? She goes, oh, it's a New Zealand film. And at that point, I was like, oh, New Zealand film. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, not knowing it was going to be one of the biggest, the biggest bloody film of all time.
Yeah.
And I looked at the lines a few times. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Didn't know what Lord of the Rings was. I was like, okay, right. And then I went in, and as I walk into, and I was learning it in the car, even though I'd had the script for like 6 weeks, and learning it in the car. And then we went into the audition room. This was before you could make self-tapes at home. And there, it was just full of great actors. And I was like, oh, shit.
Name some. Do you remember?
I mean, I can't remember. I just knew it was a very intimidating room. I just knew it was a room that I didn't probably deserve to be in. Well, I didn't, because I hadn't done the work, so I didn't deserve to be there. Simple. Get what you deserve. I didn't deserve that. And I went into the audition, and normally you've got someone doing the camera and a casting director, especially for a film. And there was a whole panel of Americans sitting in the back as well. And so that was different. And it was a very intimidating room. And I didn't know what the shit I was doing. I didn't even know my lines properly. And I did my first take, and then the lady goes, okay, Andrew, thank you. Now, do you know you're an elf? You know you're an elf. And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Yes, I know that, which I didn't. That shows you how little I did. I just learned, tried to learn my lines. And I was like, oh, so what does an elf do? And she goes, well, you're very light on your feet and da-da-da. And so I was trying to act these things, how the hell do you act light on your feet? So I was kind of doing this, which meant, what is that? And then she said, look, you've also, and stop you there, Andrew, look, you've also got a standard British accent, like a very neutral accent. And I didn't know what that meant. I only knew the Queen, that style of English, or fighting gangster. And, you learn off Mobland or, Guy Ritchie films. And so I started doing gangster accent. So I was going, oh, well, it can't be the Queen's English, so I must be fighting gangster. And so I got a little elf speaking like a gangster. And they gave me 7 takes. It was 7 takes. And that was a lot. And only in hindsight do I realize that they were actually just enjoying themselves. They were like, God, this guy is so bad that we are going to have a laugh because we're bored shitless. We've seen 30 people today already. This guy is terrible. Let's have some fun. And I honestly thought I'd done a good job, because I left and I kept ringing my agent and go, hey, I might get this. Have you heard? But then the further along you go, you realize how bad you were, because how limited in craft I was. So I was confident enough to go in there and not chicken out, but I didn't have the craft to do the job. And I didn't know what preparation meant. I didn't know how to win, which meant I needed to know my lines inside out. I needed to be able to make choices that other people weren't making. And I needed to know what a bloody elf did, and how they moved, and have an accent that I wasn't thinking about. I was doing it so much I wasn't thinking about it. And they're the things that I prepare for now.